Good evening. Welcome back to Passion World Talk Radio Network. And this evening, we are introducing a new program. It's called Surrender or Reassigned with your host, Elizabeth Caldwell. Good evening, everyone. We're going to be talking about a program, Surrender or Reassign. And it's about a shift happening right under our feet. For most of this country's history, states carry the bulk of responsibility for domestic life, education, health, welfare, policing, infrastructure. The federal government was designed to handle only a few shared duties: foreign policy, national defense, and interstate commerce. But over the last century, that balance changed. Piece by piece, responsibility moved upward. States surrendered certain powers, and the federal government reassigned them to itself. Now, we're watching a new turn of events. Today, the federal government is signaling through budgets and public statements that domestic programs may no longer be its central focus. Meanwhile, war spending remains fully funded. So the question becomes, or your question should become, if Washington steps back from domestic responsibilities, what happens next? And that's what we're going to explore tonight on Surrender or Reassigned. So what is the reality check when the government steps back? Here's the structural truth. When a federal government reduces its role in caring for its citizens, it is sending a message, not through speeches, but through actions. And the message is this: you're on your own. Handle it at the state level. So what does that really mean? It means that states must raise their own revenue. States must build their own systems. States must decide what to cut and what to keep. And families must prepare for an uneven support depending on where they live. Now, this isn't fear-based, it's not partisan, and it's simply how your government works when responsibilities shifts downward. So the real question for all our listeners: how do you defend yourself and your family? Paying attention to state level decisions, understanding what programs may change, strengthening your local networks, staying informed about what your state can and cannot fund. Recognize that your federal government retreat means state responsibility grows. That is the swivel point, the moment where citizens must understand the structure, not the personalities, because elected officials hold temporary office. Their decisions, however, can create permanent consequences. So tonight, I'm asking you to think, not react. If the federal government shifts domestic responsibilities back to the states, what should your state do? Should they surrender programs or reassign responsibilities and build new systems? And what does that mean for your community, your household, and your future, not to mention our America's infrastructure? This is Surrender or Reassign. And now it's your move. tell us at pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com. And if you want to keep the lights on and either the heat or the AC running, depending on what the weather is dishing out, and you want to continue to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, please consider donating. PassionateWorldTalkRadio.com/donation. $5 would go a long, long way to keep our lights on. And if you want to hear all about it, please go over to the website, PassionateWorldTalkRadio.com. Scroll down to get to the word Envision XR. Click on it, a box will drop down. It will see PWTRN's Daily Bread. Click on it, subscribe to the newsletter, and read the rest of the stories. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and have a great weekend.